In the year 1000, a worker in Baghdad could buy twice as much food with a single day's wages as a worker in London. Islamic scholars mapped the stars while European kings struggled to read. By 1820, the average Western European was nearly twice as wealthy as someone in the Middle East. Today, not a single university from a Muslim-majority country ranks in the global top 100. So what went wrong? Not oil, not colonialism, not conspiracies. Something far more uncomfortable happened. A civilization chose to close its own mind. The Islamic Golden Age gave us algebra, the scientific method, and the first hospitals. Muslim scholars preserved Aristotle while Europe burned its libraries. The civilization that launched the Renaissance ended up watching from the sidelines. Why? The answer isn't that Islam rejected progress. The Golden Age proves otherwise. Something shifted internally, and that shift didn't come from outside. In the 10th century, the dominant schools of Sunni thought made a decision with consequences they couldn't have imagined. They declared that all major religious legal questions had been settled. The door of independent reasoning, ijtihad, was effectively closed. A civilization that once debated the nature of existence now declared such debates dangerous. Around the same time, a theological school called Asharism gained dominance over the rationalist Mutazilites. Logic and reason became suspect. Asking why became a threat. By the 12th century, Muslim rulers encountered the printing press. They saw what it could do, and they rejected it. Without the spread of knowledge, no great society can sustain itself. Scarcity of books bred ignorance, narrowed the range of study, left rulers uninformed about the wider world. Now layer on the institutions. The Seljuk Empire introduced a system called the İktay, land revenue assignment, that brought agriculture and the economy under military control. This weakened the merchant class, the same merchants who had funded philosophers and independent scholars. The state then formed an alliance with religious authorities. The ulama provided legitimacy. The state provided protection. In return, the ulama crushed intellectual freedom. This system spread across Syria, Egypt, the Ottoman Empire, Safavid Persia, and Mughal India. These empires were militarily powerful, but they failed to revive the intellectual dynamism of early Islam because they had marginalized the very people who created it, thinkers and traders. Then there was inheritance. Timur Kuran, a historian of Islamic economics, identified a subtle killer. Islamic inheritance law required dividing estates among all heirs. This prevented the accumulation of capital. It made the emergence of corporations nearly impossible. While European partnerships could expand and evolve, Middle Eastern enterprises stayed small and fragile. By the time modern economic institutions arrived in the 19th century, the gap was already unbridgeable. Fast forward to 1924, the Ottoman Caliphate collapsed. The Muslim world fragmented. The last 80 years have been defined by instability and conflict. Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Libya, Yemen, Palestine, Somalia. The West may have supplied the weapons, but internal divisions did most of the damage. Sectarian fault lines, military takeovers, political fragmentation that destroyed any sense of collective identity. Over 90% of victims of Islamist terrorism are Muslims. A revolt against Western dominance ended up destroying the very societies it sought to strengthen. Some scholars push back. Muhammad Rida points to GDP figures showing the pre-colonial Islamic world was wealthier than Europe until the 1500s. Decline accelerated, he argues, when the British controlled India and the Dutch conquered the Sultanate of Goa. European resource grabbing played a role. Others point to the Mongol destruction of Baghdad in 1258. That calamity shattered Muslim confidence. The primary concern became preserving faith at the expense of inquiry and innovation. Fair points, but look at China. China faced Western dominance too. They felt no shame in acquiring Western science and technology. Within 30 years of embracing modernization, they became the third largest economy in the world. The Muslim world responded differently. Instead of acquiring Western knowledge and making it their own, they adopted Western philosophies and produced diluted versions. Instead of building institutions, they built rhetoric. Instead of investing in human capital, they invested in military hardware, borrowed from foreign powers. Today, Muslim leaders issue hollow declarations while the rest of the world races ahead in artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and space exploration. Meanwhile, the Muslim world remains dependent on Washington, Beijing, or Moscow to safeguard its own interests. There is a verse in the Quran: Allah would never change a people's state until they change their own state. The Muslim world is not poor. It sits on trillions of dollars in resources. It has a young, educated population. It has the foundations of a civilization that once led the world, but leadership has failed to invest in education, science, and institutions. Intellectual curiosity has been replaced with conformity. The alliance between state and religious orthodoxy has crushed dissent. The Muslim world has a choice: continue blaming colonialism and conspiracies, or engage in the kind of critical self-reflection that progress requires. The branches of this civilization may still stand, but the roots have been withering for 1,000 years, and roots once dead cannot be revived with rhetoric.